Hello everybody, Jeanette Liberty here again. This video is intended to teach you how to use Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. If you've never used Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, it can seem like a little bit of a scary task, but it's actually super easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive, and students really love it because it gives them the same impression as being in a classroom. They can raise their hands and participate. You can draw on a whiteboard. You can lecture to your PowerPoints. They can raise their hands and ask you questions, and it's a really great interactive tool to have that synchronous instruction that we hope to have in our online or distance learning classes. We're going to start the same way we always start, by logging into Blackboard using your traditional username and password. Once you've logged into Blackboard, you'll select the class where you want to create a Blackboard Collaborate session. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to use my Introduction to Law 8B course. When I create Blackboard Collaborate sessions in online classes, I like to put them directly into course content. I sync them directly into the weekly modules. So I'm going to go into the first module for my class, which is for the week of March 23rd. Once I open that, I'll need to make the tool available. So the first thing you have to do is create that tool for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. You find it under the Tool menu. However, you'll notice it is not on the initial drop-down list. You need to select More Tools. Then it comes under the letter B for Blackboard, not C for Collaborate. You see the option right here, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Simply select that option and it will give you an opportunity to rename the link. I leave mine labeled as Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. In the text box, I like to explain what it is for the students. This is an interactive demo. Typically in that box, I also write the day and the time that students will need to be in the interactive classroom. You can set your traditional options like availability, view tracking, and date restrictions. Once you're done with that, simply click Submit, and it will return you back to your course content page. Now, down at the bottom, you'll have a link for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. In order to actually set up the sessions, you'll need to click on this link, and it brings you into the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra screen. As you can see, I already have 2 sessions in here. One is for the first day of class. That's for my actual class. A second is for a demo. To create these sessions, you simply click the Create Session button. It will give you the opportunity to create a session. So we're going to create a demo session. You get to set the date and time that you want the session to occur. For the purposes of this video, we're going to choose right now on today's date. For your classes, you'll want to pick the day that you intend to actually have the interactive session and the time that you actually plan to have the session. If you want to leave it open, such as if you were doing advising and you want students to be able to come and go, you can leave it as open-ended. You also have the option of allowing students to enter the room early. You can let them enter the room up to 60 minutes early, and you simply would select that by dropping down that menu. I give the students 15 minutes early every time. There are some other session settings you might want to consider. From this drop-down menu, you'll see a lot of other options. The first is the default attendee role. When your students engage in the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra sessions, we typically want them to have the role of a participant. However, there might be a time when you're asking a student to make a presentation or you're asking the student to moderate the discussion. If you want to do that, you can simply change the default right in here. Maybe you want the students to be able to present 1 week in class. You can also give the option of allowing students to record and to write anonymous chat messages. The most important features are these 4 right here. This allows the participants, your students, to share their audio, their videos, to post chat messages, and to draw on the whiteboard or use the files. If you want to restrict those, you simply click off the check marks. I like to allow students to share their audio and video because I want them to interact with me during class. So I like to be able to see them, I like to be able to hear from them, and this is the way we do that. There are some other options that would allow you to moderate their private chats. Once students are in the Collaborate session, they can chat with each other directly, just like they can chat with you. I don't like to monitor those chats. I like the students to feel like they can communicate with each other without me watching. But if you are concerned about conversations that are going on, you do have the opportunity to supervise them if you want to. Once you've put in all the settings that you want, you simply click Save, and you'll see that a new session has been created over here. I'm going to now log into the session. When students are in your class and it's time to join the session, they will click the session for the date in question. Up here on the top, there's the option to join the session. When students are ready, they simply click that option and they'll join the session. Once your session is loaded, it gives you this welcome screen, and it gives you some options down here on the bottom. The check mark just lets you know that you're currently active in the session. The next icon allows you to share audio. So when you're ready to actually give your lecture, you'll click Share Audio. The next button allows you to share video. So if we click on that, you're gonna see me and it comes up directly from your web screen. So here we are. The next option you see on the bottom is the opportunity to raise your hand. If your students have a question, they simply click on that and you'll see that their hand is raised in your class. My personal favorite is this menu on the side here. This is your Collaborate panel. When you open this, you'll see several different options. The first, of course, is a chat. So if you want to write to somebody in your class, you can type their name in here, and if they're currently enrolled in the session, you'll be able to chat with them directly. My other favorite is the Share Content option. It's the third icon across the bottom. It has a little arrow on it. When you click Share Content, it gives you a whole variety of new activities that you can do. The first and the most useful, in my opinion, is the blank whiteboard. By clicking this option, a whiteboard will show up in your class, in your Collaborate session. You can type into it using the text function. You can clear it by clicking clear, and you also have the option to create shapes. So let's say that you wanted to build a timeline in one of your classes to show the history of something or to show how progress is made on a particular project. You can create a timeline using this feature. You also can use a pencil to draw, just like you would on a regular smartboard. I'm trying to say hello, but I'm very terrible with the pencil feature. Personally, I would just rather type. So you do have a lot of cool things that you can do here. Your students are actually also able to type into that if you want them to be able to do that. There's a pointer option right here, so you have a little pointer, or you can go back to your typical pointer. You can also share an application or share your screen. So if you were using something like AutoCAD, or you had an application that was unique that you wanted to show students how to use, you can actually allow them to just share your screen and they'll be able to see whatever application it is that you're working on. The last, I think, is probably the most common, which is the share file option. The share file option allows you to add a PDF file, an image, or a PowerPoint directly into the Collaborate session. We use a lot of PowerPoints in my program when we're doing lecture, so we're going to show you how to pull up a PowerPoint. You simply click the little plus button to add a file. And then from your documents or from your H drive, you will select the PowerPoint that you want to use. So I have a PowerPoint right here that we're going to select. And once you're ready, you've found the PowerPoint that you want, you click open, and it'll upload it into Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. This takes a minute, so my personal recommendation is that you do it before the session begins so that students don't have to wait while the file is converted. If you forget, it's okay, it really does only take a minute, but every minute counts when you're doing online classes. Once you're ready to share this PowerPoint, you will select Share Now, and it asks you what slide you want to begin on. So we'll start on slide number 1. Now, students in the Collaborate session will be able to see this slide, and I can lecture to them about the contents of my PowerPoint. You navigate through it the same way you navigate through regular PowerPoint by simply clicking the arrow buttons. Once you're done using that, you can close out all of these options. There are some other really cool things that you might want to do. For example, if you want to make sure that your students are understanding what you're doing or that you're moving at an adequate pace, you can ask them to change their status. There's several different options. You can let them know if they can let you know if they're happy or if they're surprised or if they want you to move faster. They can also indicate if they're confused or if they want you to slow down. Getting the opinion of your students is very important. Not everybody learns well in this format, so something else that you might consider doing is using the polling options. On the Collaborate panel, this little menu over here on the bottom right, you have the option to poll your class. Let's go back. Here under secondary content, you have the option of polling. So if you want to create a poll for your students, it gives you 2 options. You can create a multiple choice poll or a yes/no poll. So let's ask students, do you like the Collaborate session? Then students will have the option of selecting yes or no. Once you've created your poll, you simply click Start, and the students will have the option of weighing in just like this. We're not going to respond. The other really interesting thing you can do through the shared content panel is create breakout groups. In many of your classes, you'll do group work throughout the course of your lecture, so you can actually do the same thing here. If you want to, you can create custom groups. You can actually change these names if you want, and you add group members simply by assigning them. It's a drag and drop. So if there were other people in our class, you just drag their name down to group 1 or group 2. You can add as many groups as necessary, and like I said, you can change their names if you'd like to. That allows the students to collaborate in their own individual groups. As an instructor, I find it a little bit hard to keep track of them, but a lot of teachers do group work in class, and this is a great way to keep that activity going in the online setting. Now, when students have completed their session, they log out by going into the session menu. The session menu is up here on the upper left-hand side. You simply click it open, and it gives you several options. When they're ready to leave, they'll leave the session. There's one other really interesting option in this menu, which is the recording option. If you have a student who's unable to attend the Blackboard Collaborate session, or they leave during the session, or they don't have a good internet connection, you can actually record the session and then upload it so that the students can watch it later on their own time. It's also really good if you're going over a difficult topic or a difficult subject matter. You might choose to record it so that students can refer back to the lecture later on. Once we're done though, we want to leave the session, so you simply click Leave Session. It once again asks you for your opinion, and this is really for the people at Blackboard to let them know how everything was working. So students are given this option, as are the faculty. We want to let them know that everything was great and submit and exit. Once you exit the session, you go back into regular Blackboard and you can close this window. It's important to understand that these windows do open separately. So it's its own little window on the computer, and that means that students can navigate between windows and still leave the Blackboard Collaborate screen open. That wraps up our session on Blackboard Collaborate. As you can tell, it's a very easy and intuitive program to use. It's really, really great to get that synchronous instruction that we want to see in our online classes. I hope you've all enjoyed this session. Feel free to email me with any questions that you might have. Good luck and have a great semester.